Hello, everyone. My name is Sheyi Fabiyi. I bring you greetings from Center for Human Settlement and Sustainable Development, an NGO based in Abuja, Nigeria. I congratulate the workforce in Nigeria on this day, May 1st, International Workers' Day, and I wish and I hope the Nigerian government will put in place right policies, regulations, and laws that will enable business environment to thrive in Nigeria, and so that majority of Nigerians will be meaningfully engaged in a decent jobs and meaningful wages. We as an NGO, we realize the fact that the world is a global village, and the production sector in Nigeria affect the importing nations. Uh, we are working in the cocoa sector. We know that there's a deforestation due diligence law in Europe. There's child labor and forced labor law in Europe, in United Kingdom, and also in the US. And this affects the production chain in Nigeria, especially in the agricultural sector. We are looking at the cocoa farmers, the smallholder farmers in Nigeria. We are engaging a lot of them on the need to avoid child labor and modern slavery, forced labor in their production chain, in the production line for cocoa pod and cocoa beans. We have engaged a lot of farmers, and we realize the nature of our culture, because when we talk about child labor, we have a lot of smallholder farmers. Their businesses are actually family businesses, where the father and mother and the children are engaged in production. During the harvest time, everybody, all hands are on deck. During the time they are drying, sun drying the beans, they have to be engaged. All of them have to be engaged. So how do we separate children helping their parents from child labor? We understand, and we train, we encourage and educate the farmers that when their children are helping them in their farm activities after school, that may not be regarded as child labor. But when a child is prevented from going to school while his mates are in school, that is child labor. When a child is forced to do things that are beyond his capacity. For instance, if a 3-year-old is forced to cut grasses, to cut weed, or to do things that are beyond his capacity, beyond his ability, that may be considered as forced labor. But we know that it is also possible that the children offer themselves to the farmers to earn a living. For instance, in some part of Cross River State, there we have some migrants from Cameroon who are forced to leave their enclave because of insurgencies. Those people are in the communities, and they offer themselves, the father, the children, the mother offer themselves to cocoa farmers to work in their farm, to work during harvesting time, to work to process the beans. This one may not be regarded as forced labor, because the forced labor, according to International Labour Organization (ILO), say all work or service which is exacted from any person under the threat of a penalty, and for which the person has not offered himself or herself voluntarily. That means if that person offer himself voluntarily, that is not regarded as forced labor. So some of these migrant farmers, migrants from other countries, when they come to Nigeria, they need something to maintain themselves. So they may offer themselves to farmers, cocoa farmers, that they want to be engaged in the farm. Such will not be regarded as child labor. But we are also engaging the cocoa companies to be able to separate the sieve from the shaft, to know that what is regarded as child labor in the in Europe may not be regarded as child labor in Nigeria, because if you say every child that help his parents to work in the farm is child labor, that may render most of the product produced from the farms, smallholder farmers, unacceptable in Europe. So we need to balance the cultural perspective of Africans from the international community. Uh, Another thing we are looking at with the farmers is deforestation, zero deforestation cocoa in from Africa, from Nigeria, and it is no longer be acceptable in Europe for any product that is being produced in a protected area. Any product like cocoa, like palm, like beef, like coffee, tea will not be accepted in Europe once it is confirmed that those are produced from protected area, or the farms are expanded into the protected area. We are also working with farmers. We understand that some of the protected area have been redesignated, redesigned by the governors. They have been removed from the protected area. They have been designated as agricultural area. Unfortunately, most of these areas that have been redesignated are not yet gazetted. There's no law that is backing them up. So they still remain protected area under the national map or national data set. So we encourage those governors to gazette all those areas that have been redefined as agricultural area, which were originally or before were protected area, forest reserve, community forest, national parks. Some of those areas have been designated, have been redefined, the boundaries have been redefined to accommodate agricultural produce because of the pressures, population pressures, and because of the demand for farmland to help the farmers. Once again, I congratulate the labor force in Nigeria, NSC, TUC, and all the academia, ASU, and all the labor organizations in Nigeria. And I wish and I hope that this new year with the new government is going to be a prosperous year for all the entire workforce in Nigeria, and the people that are looking for jobs, and the people that are already that are pensioners who are also receiving pensions from the work of the people in the labor force, because the pensioners actually are deriving their income from the people that are working. Thank you and God bless.